Hi Virgo, welcome to your reading. If you're new to the channel, I do timeless readings, which means that whenever you find the video is when you're meant to hear the messages within it. And in case you subscribe, I upload my videos for Virgo and Pisces on Saturdays. Also, for those of you guys who are interested, the deck that I'm using today is called the Robin Wood Tarot. And as always, if you guys are interested in getting a personal reading, the information is in the description. Normally I'd put away a group this big, but I'm going to go ahead and take it. And also, just as a final reminder, sometimes the cards like to flip around in the deck. I usually don't take them, or rather I see that they're flipping around in the deck, but I usually don't take them unless they flip out, or rather jump out like these ones have. But my goal is to get you guys roughly 8 or 9 cards, and then we can get started on with your overall energy. Although I did put those cards back, I did notice that 4 of Wands that popped out in that group that I just put back. So commitment might be on your guys' mind, or maybe very relevant right now. Sometimes the 4 of Wands is called the marriage card, so you guys might be dealing with something like that. So this card really wanted to fall out, but it didn't quite. Judgment. So for some of you, the court system might be very important right now. And for others of you guys, you might be feeling like someone's passing judgment on you. All right. So just as a quick reminder, if you guys enjoy the reading, don't forget to leave a like or a comment. I really like seeing if these readings resonate with you guys, and the comments are a great way of letting me know. But for your overall energy here, you have the Lover's card, which is a really good card to have, right? The symbolism on the Lover's card oftentimes is very straightforward in the sense that it has to do with love, right? So I'm getting the impression right now that, especially since earlier when I was shuffling, that 4 of Wands energy sort of was very prominent. I'm guessing that a lot of you guys are dealing with some kind of commitment, either mainly or like in your periphery, right? Because whenever the Lover's card comes out, I should mention also that the Lover's card is the card of Gemini, so you guys might be dealing with a Gemini. But that's all that I see in the way of astrological signs in the cards. So oftentimes when I see the Lover's card, I usually, automatically go to love, but also there's this aspect of the Lover's card that isn't quite talked about as much, and it's sort of the aspect of overcoming obstacles, right? And the way I always like to picture it is that you have maybe, oftentimes when you see the lovers, they're like in a field. So I picture like one person being on one end of the field and one person being on the other end of the field, and they have to meet in the middle, right? And meeting in the middle can be seen as an obstacle in itself, and with the overcoming of that obstacle, you have this happiness, and you have this sort of lovely love energy, right? And it's all very interesting, right? Because we have the King of Wands here in reverse with the 5 of Wands in reverse as well, right? So the Wands are fire energy. And the fact that we have the King of Wands and the 5 of Wands together leads me to believe that there was a lot of fiery energy. I think that you guys have been dealing with a lot of conflict and a lot of competition in particular with this 5 of Wands, right? Because the 5 of Wands in the upright talks about competition. It talks about arguments, strife, any kind of thing where it's like trying to outdo another person, right? And we have the symbolism here of like the people sort of duking it out, and it's sort of like a 5-way tie here. And with that, we also have the King of Wands here, which for a lot of you guys might represent a fire sign like Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius. But what I'm guessing here, also, if those signs don't necessarily apply to you and your situation, it's not that big of a deal. It's just extra confirmation. But I feel like there's a person here that has these sort of fiery qualities, but in a very low vibrational way. So the fire signs, low vibration, tend to be very impatient, very rash, very argumentative, very overly competitive, very show off and standoffish. And I feel like because both of these cards are in reverse, you guys want to really walk away from that energy. Like, you're so done with it and you're just over it, so now you're walking away. And I think good on you, right? Because we have this Ace of Swords here and this Three of Cups in reverse. So the Three of Cups in reverse to me, well, okay, let me start by the Three of Cups upright. The Three of Cups upright oftentimes talks about reunions or celebrations of some kind, right? So the fact that it's in reverse almost leads me to believe that this was the outcome that this person wanted, this King of Wands in reverse with all of their reverse energy. Also, now that I said it that way, I feel like part of what it is that they were coming at you the wrong way. Like, they wanted to take some kind of approach to you, but then when they did, like, it was kind of like a one-size-fits-all, kind of like, I'm going to flirt with you, and then I have it, like, all ready. And I feel like that you were very not much into that idea. I feel like you're looking more for something a lot more genuine and a lot more meaningful right now. And you probably shut them down a lot, I feel. Especially because, like, the Three of Cups in reverse almost feels like they wanted this outcome where they, like, okay, they messed up, now they're coming back in, and everything's happy, and everyone's celebrating, and oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in so long. But because you have this Ace of Swords, it almost feels like you're cutting them out for a lot of you guys. I feel like a lot of you guys might actually be blocking them on, like, social media or whatever. And it's very interesting because moving on in the reading, we have this Hanged Man as well as the Queen of Swords in reverse. So the Hanged Man is always an interesting energy to have because when we get it, it's urging us to really take a step back and look at things from a different perspective, right? So the backstory of the Hanged Man is that the person that's depicted in the Fool card has gone through this journey, right? And it's called the Fool's Journey. It's actually really interesting, and I highly recommend to looking it up if you guys are interested in tarot. But basically, he meets the Magician, the first arcana. He meets the High Priestess, the second arcana, and he goes all the way through. And then he gets to the Hanged Man, and basically where he hangs himself to get a different perspective of the world, to see the world from the upside down, right? So I feel like you guys need to sort of take a step back and sometimes, at least right now, sort of come at the situation with a different approach. Because I feel like to some extent you guys have been this Queen of Swords in reverse energy. And the Queen of Swords in reverse tends to be, you know, a little bit standoffish as well, a little bit cold, a little bit quick to cut people off, right? So, like, I get that not everyone is out to hurt you or harm you. So, like, do come at the world with an approach where you're able to maintain relationships that are meaningful and positive for you, but also able to cut off the relationships that are toxic and hurtful to you, right? I feel like there's a sort of balance that you need to strike up here. And I feel like for a lot of you guys right now, like, you may have been very negatively single in a way, like sort of sworn off love, I feel, but like we have this Nine of Pentacles here and this Ace of Wands, right? So the Nine of Pentacles, to me, it talks about the single and ready to mingle energy, right? It's about being independent. It's about being stable. Oftentimes I think of this woman as like a very highly educated woman. You can't really tell because that's just kind of like her garden, but it almost feels like the garden of like a mansion that she lives in. And she has these hawks and all these qualities and all these things. And all that she really wants in her life at this point is, and that's kind of a bad way of saying it, but like she's sort of done everything that she wants, and like the last thing on the list is this Lover's card, right? Because like it's just the order that you go about things. And I feel like there's this new passionate beginning, right? And there's the 1 to complete the 9 to get to 10. And I feel like that's the place where you're at. I feel like you're a lot of you guys are happy with your finances, happy with your career choices, those kinds of things. And now it's sort of, okay, now that I've focused on this energy, I can move on to the next energy and I can become a more well-rounded person. And I think that that's a good way, that's a good outlook on life, and I hope that I explained it in a way that makes sense. But whatever your ideal life looks like to you is what you should pursue. But that was your reading for this time around, Virgo. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like or a comment because it really helps out the channel. And I personally really love to know if these readings resonate with you guys. But like I said before, I upload my new videos for Virgo on Saturdays. But in the meantime, you guys are more than welcome to watch any of my other timeless readings. And with that being said, I hope to see you guys next time for next reading.